Welcome to Bourbon School, it's Brian, and I just got home from a great vacation in New England. We went to Maine and Massachusetts, saw Acadia National Park, went to the beach, ate some great food, and of course, we bought some awesome bottles. So I'm going to show you my bottle haul from vacation coming up next. All right, folks. Before we get started, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for notifications. We just hit 1,800 subscribers this week, and I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do it today. We hope we can earn your subscription and likes. So we just went on a family vacation. We went to Massachusetts for a couple days, actually Boston namely, and saw a Red Sox game, saw a little bit of the sights in the city, and then headed up to Maine, to Bar Harbor and to Portland. Saw Acadia National Park, hung out in Portland for a little bit, went to the beach. It was a really, really nice, relaxing time with family. So, of course, whenever I go on vacation, I'm always looking to check out the local shops and the local liquor stores. I actually wasn't very optimistic. I had posted something in our Facebook group, Bourbon School Community. If you haven't joined, go do that. But I posted something in our Facebook community about like, hey, what are some bottles I want to look for? What are some shops? Like, here's where we're going. And I got, actually, there was a viewer who lives in Massachusetts who gave me kind of a bleak outlook on the selection and kind of what you'll find in these areas. And I was not too optimistic. But I gotta say, once we got there, I was pretty happy with what we found. Some really, really nice shops in all three places that we stayed in. And I thought I got some nice bottles, and a few bottles that if you watched our 6 bottles or 6 store picks that we always buy, a few of those are gonna show up here because, like I said in that last video, I can't really pass them up. So starting in Massachusetts, we stopped at a store called Cappy's, and Cappy's is like a local chain. My uncle who lives in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, actually owned a Cappy's back in the day. I remember I used to have like a white painter's cap that said Cappy's Liquors on it. It was a super nice store. It looked fairly new. It was real clean, real nice. I didn't take any pictures. I just wasn't thinking of like doing a hunt video or something. I was just looking for bottles, so I didn't take pictures. But I did end up grabbing 2 bottles at Cappy's. The first one was an RD1. Now this is not anything crazy or exotic, but it is something we can't get here in New York State. Now I already have the Amburana finished one, and I, much like the bourbon junkies, think it might be the perfect balance of Amburana. But this one, they had all 4. They had the regular Kentucky straight bourbon, they had the maple finish, they had the Amburana finish, and then this one, which is the French oak finish. And you can see, we got into it a little bit already. It's actually very good. It's not as sweet as, say, a Maker's 46, but it's real roasty, it's real tasty. We'll do a full review of this one, but I did grab one of these at Cappy's because, like I said, we can't get them here in New York, and this one of the other 3 I haven't tried seemed like the most interesting. So the RD1 finished with French oak at 101 proof. And so far it's been good. We'll do a review coming up soon. Next on the list, also at Cappy's, I got, it's over here, Old Soul. This is another one that I have never seen in New York State, and this was a 2023 private barrel selection, Distiller Select for Massachusetts, and it's number 003. And it is a product of Mississippi. It's actually, I believe, because it says distilled in Indiana, so I believe this is probably Ross and Squibb, and then they finish it, they age it in Mississippi. It's 120 proof, and you could see we really did get into this. It was, we're on vacation, we were staying in Airbnb, so Marianne and I, when we were done at the end of the night, we'd have a pour. So over the course of the week, this seemed to be our favorite. But it is, I think, a really nice one. I have in the past talked about how MGP or Ross and Squibb, they all kind of are the same, and I've kind of settled on a couple of those, 115 to 120 proof bottles of MGP that I really like. This one, if it was available in New York State, would definitely be in the mix of those ones I would still buy. It's really, really good. We really enjoyed it. And again, review coming up on that one too. All right, then we headed up to Acadia National Park, which is in Bar Harbor. And we actually stayed in a town, not Townsend, Trenton, Maine. And right down the road from Trenton was Ellsworth, which is a little bit of a larger area. They have shopping and stuff. And they had a liquor store. It was called Global Beverage. And went in, and it was a pretty standard selection of stuff. Some local stuff, and then a lot of, bottles you would see everywhere. They didn't have a ton of stuff that was like, ooh, I can't get that in New York. And as I was walking out, I did grab one bottle. And as I was walking out, I saw up front a barrel with some Knob Creek Select. So this is a Knob Creek barrel pick for Global Beverage Warehouse. It is a little bit under 10 years old, 120 proof like all the Selects are. It's great. We did get into this one too. It's really, really good. I think that the single barrel Select from Premier up in Buffalo is a little bit better than this. But like I said in that video about 6 store picks we always buy, I'm never going to pass them up. They're always good. And this one's no exception. It's a great bottle. Really nice. So, another one I can never pass up. And then also, this is where I got my local one. I'll usually always, when I go on a vacation, I usually always try to grab a local bottle. So the one I got, the one that seemed to be the most popular is this one. It's called Wiggly Bridge, and I got the Bottled in Bond Bourbon. It's double pot stilled. It's, they say, handcrafted in York, Maine. And this is distilled and bottled and aged in York. York is a little beach community along the coast. We actually, the first time we went with our kids to Maine, we stayed in York. Nice beaches. They've got a lot of activities there. It's a nice family place to stay. And so Wiggly Bridge, I went with this because they do have a small batch, but I wanted to go with one that I knew had some age on it. So this is obviously Bottled in Bond. It is at least 4 years old. It's 100 proof. And so I'll be looking forward to dipping into this one. They, like I said, when I was reading reviews, there were 2 distilleries, New England distilleries, that really popped out as ones that were ones to try. And it was Wiggly Bridge and the other one was Split Rock. I had to make a choice. I had bought enough bourbon where I really didn't want to get both. So I went with the Wiggly Bridge, and we'll do a review of that coming up soon. And then finally, we went down to Portland. And in Portland's a real hipster kind of city. It's kind of trendy and hip, and it seems like it's pretty young. They had a really nice, very cool looking out on the outside liquor store. It was called Bow Street Beverage. It was right down the street from the Airbnb we were staying at. And I could not believe the number of store picks they had. I'll put a picture up here. You can see there's a whole rack of store picks. And it wasn't just bourbon. They had a single malt, Indian single malt pick. They had tequila picks, rum picks, all kinds of whiskey. It was super impressive. And that shelf there is only beginning. Around the corner, they had even more. And so there was a Maker's pick, there was a Rebel pick, there was an Ezra pick, there was an Elijah Craig private barrel pick. Like almost every single bottle that I had on my list of don't pass up these store picks was there. But since we were at the end of the trip and I had already spent quite a bit of money on bourbon, I had to kind of make some choices. So the ones that I went with were, I went with a Rebel Distillers Collection. And this one, the Distillers Collection is basically means that they send the samples to the store and the store picks out of those 3 samples. And it's a little less than the cask strength. It's 113 proof. They also had an Ezra one, and the Ezra was only 107, which was, I kind of was like, well, I wonder why it's not 113, because I thought that all the Distillers collections were bottled at 113. But I skipped the Ezra. I went with the Rebel. And when I was reading about the difference between the Distillers collection and the cask strength, it said that the cask strength you have to go to the distillery for. I don't know that that's always true, because our local shop, Sheridan Liquor and Wine, did a pick, and the 3 samples were cask strength, 120 proof samples. So I think maybe sometimes they have some barrels that they want to get rid of, and so they'll send out cask strength samples. To be completely honest, we didn't pick one of those. They were not great. So that kind of reinforces me that maybe these were barrels that they had sitting and just sent out because they want to get rid of them. They're not going to keep them as cask strength picks that people come and taste. That's just my guess, but I think that's what happened. But we did try this last night. It's good. It's wheated. It's definitely got that like wheat bread, Roman meal. I always say Roman meal about Rebel. It's really good. I don't know that it's as good as the cask strength pick I got down in Kentucky, but it is really, really nice. And it was like $44. So it's a great value for that Rebel's Distillers collection. And then lastly, for me, this was my favorite pickup. I told you guys we can't get the barrel proof picks in New York State. You can only get the 94 proof Elijah Craig's. And I saw this on the shelf. It was a little pricey. It was $85. So it's a little more than where I've gotten them other places. Other places they're around 70 or 75. But there was no way I was passing this up. So this is a private barrel for Bow Street Barrel Select. That's Bow Street Liquors. It's 121.9 proof, and it is 11 years old. This I cannot wait to get into. I'm actually, I have said several times on this channel that I think these barrel proof private selects are better than any of the batches. I think we're going to put that to the test. We're going to put this up against a few of the barrel proof batches that we really, really liked. And we're going to see if my theory holds on that one, because I have not had a bad one of these. And you know, with the A, B, and C batches, sometimes you get ones like the A batch this year that wasn't great. So I'm going to test that theory out in some upcoming videos, or we will, and see how this stacks up against those A, B, and C batches. But, okay, guys, so there's my bottle haul from vacation. I think I did pretty good. Got some great bottles that I know are going to be great, and then some others that I was really dying to try. Reviews coming on the Wiggly Bridge, the Old Soul, and the RD one for sure. We'll also, like I said, match up that Elijah Craig against some of the A, B, and C batches and see how it fares. But if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for notifications. Don't forget about Bourbon School Community. And if you are so inclined to support us on Patreon, you can go do that too. Cheers, everyone.